Good evening everybody, Andy here at a sunny Mayfair in London at the world premiere of From the Ashes, a wonderful documentary about the Test win against Australia and the Ashes win in 1981. We're here in support of Sir Ian Botham's charity, Research into Leukaemia Lymphoma.
Molotov cocktails are thrown for the
in
first
an
time
orgy
in
of
mainland
looting,
Britain.
arson and vandalism.
Big cricket fan yourself?
Huge cricket fan. I was in Australia in January. I was in Sydney, and it was the best time to be English. It doesn't happen over very, very often. I've also been over there when it's been absolutely horrific to be English, but it was splendid. And actually, in fairness, the Aussies took the spanking that we gave them quite well. Go away, you stalker! They took it. Sorry, as a photographer, they took it pretty well. But it was wonderful. Since then, it's all gone a bit.
Did that test, did that series beat the 1981 one for you, or?
Don't know. I was a bit young then, but I don't know. I mean, Beef. I've known Beefy for so long. He's just a mate, and he's a hero. I mean, he'd be unbearable if he hears this stuff, but he is. He's a legend. I mean, and what he could do with a cricket bat and the ball, and what I think one of the great things about Ian is that the Australians loved him. Yeah. They loved to play against him because he was their kind of a guy. Because he never ever gave up, and even when he was quite cropped and clearly, towards the end of his career, there was still a chance when that guy walked in with a bat in his hand or a ball in his hand, he could turn the whole game round.
What did you think made him special as a player? What really stood out as him in his ability?
He's just unbearably. I fish with this guy. He's just unbearably bumptious and confident. He will not lie down. And yeah, just a bit. And everything he does, whether it's fishing, whether it's everybody tells me he's a very good golfer. I know he's a brilliant shot. He's unbearable. He's one of those. He's so good at things. Yeah. I mean, fishing with him is a nightmare because he just flogs the water into a paste. He wants to win. He wants to catch the biggest fish, etc., etc. But he's a great man. He's a great Englishman. I mean, he's a wonderful Englishman.
He's an ambassador for the country.
He is. He is.
The Ashes was the only contest. It was Australia versus England for world supremacy.
What are your memories of that time?
Oh, there's a few, one or two. Yeah, where do you want to start? How long have you got? No, of course, there's lots of memories. It was a great moment. It changed my life. So I'm really looking forward to this evening. It should be great fun.
Was your 149 not out in the third test your best innings of your career?
No, but it was under the circumstances and on the surface we played. There was a lot of luck involved in the innings. I played technically much better innings in various places, but no, everyone saw that. It was great. We had the riots going on, and the country was getting a kicking. So it was quite nice to be part of to give the people something to enjoy. And don't worry, we enjoyed it as well. Whenever you beat the Australians, it's good.
We were lucky enough to meet Big Bird himself, Mr. Garner. Yeah. Was he possibly the best bowler you ever faced?
He was the biggest. Yeah, he's enormous, isn't he? Yeah, but no, he was a magnificent cricketer. And until his shoulder injury, he was as hostile as anybody. Yeah, great cricketer.
Botham's second duck in the Lord's Test this afternoon might have seemed like the final straw.
Do you feel relieved now you've not got the job? No, not relieved. Sad in some ways.
I was just wondering what makes Sir Ian, so special.
You're prescient there. Yeah. Is there something you know that I don't? I'll tell you what makes Ian special. I mean, apart from all his abilities that you see and saw on the cricket field over those years, he is the man that has the most self-belief that I've ever met. I've never known anyone quite like him for that. He's seldom down for long. He's always looking on the bright side. He's ultra competitive, whatever he does, and there is that huge will just to enjoy himself, come what may.
What was that test the best test you ever played in?
It was probably the most extraordinary test in many ways, as everyone knows who was there anywhere near it 30 years ago. We were down and out, had packed our bags, and we're almost looking forward to the next game on the Monday morning after a huge party, of course, which was Ian's fault the night before. And all looking a bit jaded, to be honest. So to come back from that, to watch him belt the ball all around Headingley for most of the day, to watch Bob Willis take the 8 wickets the following day, to be part of that was great. Extraordinary atmosphere. So it's up there, it's certainly up there. But there have been more clinical performances, there have been better all-round performances, and plenty of them.
What makes it so special against the Aussies in particular, these tests, the Ashes series?
History. History is all. Anyone who's actually played an Ashes series knows there is something special about it. Therefore, the pinnacle is to win one. The pinnacle to be personal, was to captain England to a winning series against Australia. You look back on times like that ever so fondly. You know, for Ian, he did all sorts of extraordinary things over a period of 15 plus years as a Test cricketer. He did all sorts of extraordinary things away from the Test fields as well, which I don't think are in the film, to be honest. You look back in all those days fondly. You know, things move on, yeah, quite rightly so, and you know, I think we're all enjoying being part of the game now from a watching brief and seeing what changes and what's good and what's bad. But you always treasure those memories, and you know, the mid-80s had some very special ones.
It was hoped Mike Brearley could breathe some life into England's flagging cricketers, but after today's shambles, it seems the job's too much for one man. What hope has Brearley now?
It was a pretty miserable time. We had the riots all over the country. It was tough for a lot of people. And then along came cricket in 1981. Everything changed.
From football to cricket then, so what drew you to making this documentary?
Well, we'd finished making One Night in Turin, which was obviously about a sporting moment where England lost. And after that I was very intrigued. I mean, it really set me thinking about what sport means to a country and what it means to a nation. And you know, and I think it's something that's underdeveloped as a theme in our culture. You know, we spend a lot of the time thinking about other cultural aspects, but actually sport's the one thing where, I don't know about you, but where I care, you know, I care. It changes how I feel. I mean, we know how it changes how I feel. And it changes massively for the male population, and you know, it's a great sporting moment that doesn't just change, you know, me as a Man City fan watching Man City Tottenham in 1981. Very ironic today, you know, the confidence. And I had a ticket for that as well. But I had to come here instead.
I'm a fan, so I've got a lot of pain.
Yeah. You know, but that's a sort of personal and sort of confrontational, whereas this is, you know, something where a rare moment where a whole nation switches on and switches into something and it goes into collective memory, and that's big, you know. Politics doesn't do that. Royal weddings certainly don't do that. Royal weddings are sort of cheesy and manufactured, and this is just a moment where you go, that's amazing, that's brilliant. How you know, you can't recreate this.
Yeah, what a triumph for him it would be if he could still be batting at 6 o'clock this evening.
He needed one for the 50, some thought we'd never seen from him again.
How did you get involved with the narration of this wonderful documentary?
Well, I'm not involved in the film so much as the charity. Leukaemia, I'm chairman of fundraising of Leukaemia Lymphoma research, and Ian Botham, as well as being an extraordinary cricketer, is an amazing fundraiser for us. So we get a bit of a take out of the profits from this film as well. So and I'm interviewing him and David Gower and Bob Willis. So I'm really looking forward to it, actually. It's obviously a bit of a new, because you've got this other film about the West Indies out.
We were there last night.
Yeah, I couldn't go, but really good apparently.
Yes, it was. We met a few of the cricketers.
Yeah, so you know, it's going to be, it's interesting. You've got 2 out at the same time, and I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's something that unites the country, something like this, especially the Ashes.
Well, I can remember the 81 Ashes, and I've been trying to remember whether it had the same impact as the 2005 and Freddie and all that lot. And I think it did. From memory, I think it did. It was like an extraordinary thing because it's such an epic kind of story. You know, and just researching it before tonight to do these interviews, I'd totally forgotten that Botham had been so bad in the first 2 tests, out for 2 ducks and all that, you know. So it's, yeah, it's just an amazing story of turnaround, and it's epic. It's a really epic story. So I was just saying to him, I think it'd be great if the whole thing could be made into a, you know, somebody should do a feature film about this, because I love those big turnaround stories. Are great, you know.
You're obviously a big football fan as well. Is it football or cricket for you, or a little bit of both?
Football. No, both, but football is #1, yeah, by a long way, yeah. But I do get to a bit of cricket, and you know, when I was growing up, I watched a lot of cricket. Growing up in Yorkshire, yeah. And it really, really, really annoys Ian when I tell him that Jeff Boycott is still my favourite cricketer, despite everything.
Really does nothing else. He's given England back their Superman.
Oh, what a good catch.
Botham. He was a game of cricket in himself.
How did you get involved with the documentary?
Well, basically my management were working on the soundtrack, and they were looking for a female vocalist to collaborate with somebody else, and it happened. I'm an Irish girl, came to the UK, had a couple of hits in Ireland, and just making my way here now. Yeah. So it worked together with Tony Hadley, and it was really cool.
What was it like working with him, a legend of the 1980s, really?
Literally a legend, genuinely. It was very, very hard to recreate the track again, true, because it's so distinctive, his voice. So it was a little bit daunting, but we got there.
Did you learn anything from Tony, him being obviously an icon?
I learned that somebody like me, just starting out, can go and recreate something with a legend like him and be very relaxed about it, because they made me completely relaxed, at ease myself. It was fantastic, yeah.
Where do you see your career going after this?
Well, I've a release at the end of the summer, a real Caribbean Shakademus are sampling on it and stuff like that. So it's really sexy, young, kind of fresh vibe, and I've that coming out soon. So hopefully that'll kind of launch me in the UK.
This was a superhuman being.
A little before this time yesterday, English cricket was being buried.
Well, what a great night. We even interviewed the legend that is Sir Ian Botham as well. This is Andy Oliver signing out for Premier saying, I'll see you next time.
You can be so close and yet so far, and that's the beauty about sport.
Roll in. It's all out after one of the most astonishing fight backs you could ever see.